Welcome back.
Hello,
I'm Michael.
I'm Matt.
And it is the last day of January
Also, episode 28.
2025.
Yes.
And
First month is done.
and it feels like it's been like 4 months, maybe three.
Yeah, this whole month felt very long, but at the same time, we have a calendar in the living room. Oh,
Whoa,
that's new.
that one's cool.
Anyways, we have a calendar over there that has a 2 month projection, and the thought of putting March March up sounds kind of wild too, though.
Yeah, it does. But yeah, I was playing around with ChatGPT the other day, trying to get some value out of it. I asked it a question. I said, "What do you know about me that I might not know about myself based on our previous interactions?" And so it took all of the things that I put into ChatGPT and it spit out like 5 things. Talked about it says that I thrive under pressure and a whole bunch of other random stuff. It's basically a horoscope, except it actually has like data to pull from, which was kind of cool. But then I went into the weeds with it and I was like, um, what's some advice that you would give me to really propel me into the future? And so it gave me some actually good advice too. And so I'll share that with you guys. And maybe you can use it, or maybe you can just watch what I do when I use it, and we'll show you the results of it. But first of all, it says ruthlessly prioritize and systemize. So it knows that got a lot on my plate, a lot of projects, a lot of tasks, and it says it says 3 things. So for content creation, it says, for examples, it says like batch record and schedule posts to maximize your available hours, and that can be kind of thought of as like any kind of work is to be able to batch your work together, schedule it out. But that's what it was saying on here. Except in the lean startup, it actually said not to do that. It said if you batch your work together, you are not enabling that cycle of feedback. So like we'll use social media as an example because that's what ChatGPT was using. It was saying it was so for example, if you were to use social media, every single post is feedback. But if you batch all your posts together and you make them all at once, then you're not getting feedback per post. You're getting feedback per, I guess, however much content you batch together. So it could be a week or a month. Um, so that's the downside, but it does look good for productivity wise or efficiency wise.
There's also something said about I know a lot of people say that it's not like so much as a post, but it's also a numbers game too when you do make posts.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it was. I don't even know. I think a lot of people have
A
said
lot,
it.
a lot of people
I
say,
was
yeah,
gonna
it's not
say a
to say him.
specific person, but I think a lot of people have said that is it takes sets and reps and
Not only sets and reps, but just putting the information out there constantly. I mean, obviously you want good quality stuff out there, but at the same time, like
yeah,
constantly putting
volume.
posting, yeah, the volume also works.
Yeah, what does it take like 10,000 hours to master a skill? I think that's common knowledge. I don't know.
I don't know if it's.
I heard it somewhere.
I mean, that sounds like
I
you'd
feel like
be pretty good at it.
growing up, that's what I've heard always. It's like in school and whatever, I've always heard 10,000 hours to master a skill. That's a prime example of sets and reps.
Yeah.
But anyways, that was the first thing that it said to do. Ruthlessly prioritize and systemize. Number 2, delegate and outsource. So we're working a lot of projects right now. Um, One way to maximize time is to bring in people on the team so that we can kind of spread out responsibilities and tasks through. So I think we've done a good job of that. We brought in a couple people for the team. We are working on was dividing and conquering, and yeah, so delegate and outsource. Next thing it says, go all in on personal branding. It says your biggest advantage is you. People don't just buy products; they buy into the people and movements. I feel that. So
What was the prompt that you gave for this
I
idea?
said, what is some advice you would give me to get to my future, to get to future success?
So is this taking like the
This is
things you currently work on and then just tailoring this answer to you?
this has taken all of the prompts that I've put in and what it understands about me, and it's saying like, if I were to give advice based on what your lifestyle, what you do,
What you've
what
been
it
doing,
thinks that I do, obviously,
right?
because it doesn't know for sure, but what it thinks that I do, what I put in, this is what it would say. So go in, all in on personal branding, um, and it talks about your biggest advantage is you. And I feel that because when I see like other brands, I don't see it as like Nike or Under Armour. You see it as the actual like branding, messaging, the stories that it's telling. I think a better example would be like 10,000 or uh, like Nick Bear. It's all kind of around the person who creates the story. And if you can create a story, you can bring people in. So I'm working on creating a story that's worth telling. So that's kind of where all of my fitness kind of focus goes into the branding, is because not only am I just trying to hit 10,000 for myself, but I want people to see that, maybe get motivated, or who are also chasing a similar goal, be able to look at what I'm doing and saying, okay, this is what works. This is how he got to where he was at, and then be able to just follow along and join the movement. And at some point, I see it being kind of like a community where everyone's pushing each other forward. But, anyways, go all in on personal branding. Um, let's see. And then I guess the final one says play the long game, but move fast. Your best advantage is speed of execution. Don't wait for everything to be perfect. Test, launch, and iterate, whether it's YouTube content, products, or app. Stay adaptable, but don't lose sight of the bigger vision, building something that lasts. So that was kind of cool. I honestly, when I would put in the prompt, I wasn't expecting like actual advice that was that good. But I think ChatGPT, I think all these AIs are getting better, and they're going to continue to get better. And if you're not utilizing them, you're going to be missing out. So these are all things that I could have found in a book or could have sat down and thought about and wrote down. But just being able to quickly like get some advice from this thing and it not be bad advice was kind of cool.
Yeah, I'd say the beauty of, you know, having a mindset to constantly improve is that you'll always find new avenues and potentials. Because it's kind of funny, like I've been thinking about like how to improve as well, and I took a different approach. He used ChatGPT, and I found a method that I'm doing now where it's called the goal method. So it's I write and rewrite my goal each morning. So I have like a list of three main goals I want to do in the year. There's a bunch, but I break it down to three main goals and I write it out every single morning. And then at night, I review those main goals and ask myself two questions. What did I do right? Slash, like, what did I do to move the needle towards the goal? Is the first thing I write down. And then the second thing I write down is what would I do differently if I had to do the day over? And so I have my goals, I look at my goals, and then I ask those two questions. And then then I implement the next day. And so it's kind of interesting because we both have different ways of doing it.
I feel like for me, I got a lot less time in the day just because I'm going from full job A to full job B to gym to sleep, what few hours I do get. Um, and routine is great, but I feel like you can't do too much routine because it's going to take away from the available time when you're really limited. So trying not to have like 2 to 3 hour routines. And I'm not saying that's what you do, but like just kind of an example. I'm not trying to make such long routines that it takes up all my time because I get home, I go to the gym, I come back from the gym, and I've got a couple hours, not very many. And that's if I'm like quick with it.
Yeah, and that includes eating and
Sleeping, yep.
sleeping, and doing this podcast every night.
Yeah. So um, I think at some point I could bring in something like that, but I don't know that it would work for me in my specific circumstances at the moment. But whatever works for you guys. I feel like everybody's got to find their own routine. Like you can't just go and find like a optimized routine off Google. Like
Yeah.
there's all these great examples and things like there's good things about them. Like you can take key points from all these routines and implement them into your life and it'll work. But really, it needs to be specific to you. Different things work for everybody. And then I think also it's about what you can stick to. So if you can't stick to the routine, if you can't be
I think that's
consistent
the
with it,
most important is what can you actually stick to?
mhm, if you can't stick to it, you're not going to get the results that are going to come from it.
Yeah. I have like this big habit tracker. And like part of it was, like read 10 pages a day, but I couldn't actually stick to that for the longest time. And so in order to at least, because it was like sometimes it's just like it's late at night, it's time to go to bed. Like I don't want to read. And so I lowered it down to 5 pages and it became so much more manageable. Even though it was like significantly less, it's still moving the needle in the right direction. And I was able to consistently build upon 5 pages to get back to 10 pages, but getting that routine started again really helped me. So it doesn't. I guess it doesn't matter. You don't have to take the largest step. Like if it's too much, there's always a smaller step you can take, and then they build upon each other.
Yeah, I know somebody will be listening to this and kind of in the same boat that I'm in, where it's like, oh, I got this full time job, and then I go home and I'm trying to make my actual like passion work for me. Um, and you're not quite in that position where you can get out of one and go to the other. So maximizing your time is really useful and really figuring out what routines are going to work for you. But anyways, I think it was a good podcast. You got
Yeah,
anything? Any last remarks?
yeah. Don't beat yourself up. If the plan doesn't work, change the plan, not the goal. So if something's not working and you've been trying really hard, reevaluate the plan and make it more manageable, make it smaller.
That kind of goes against what my current lock screen is on my phone.
But what's your current luxury?
So I AI generated this picture. You won't be able to see it, but AI generated this picture. It's like a warehouse, and it's I put the words on there. Nobody cares. Work harder. But yeah,
Well, I mean, that's not the opposite, because,
I think literally speaking, because we're saying like, don't beat yourself up. It's all right.
well, it's also true. No one really gives a crap about you.
No, they don't care.
Nobody cares.
They don't care until you've done
But
what you
you
say
should
you're
care
gonna
about yourself. And sometimes the weight of the world is on your shoulders, and it's okay to take a breath.
do. I care about you.
Maybe he does. I don't know.
Anyways, appreciate y'all for being here and see y'all.